The cracks begin to show. Hey Reddit. Throw RA here. I never thought I'd be one of those guys posting on here, but I honestly don't know who else to turn to. I, 34M, have been married to my wife, Qley, 32F, for 8 years. We were high school sweethearts, moved in together right after college, and got married 2 years later. Everyone said we were the perfect couple. Maybe that should have been my first red flag. For the most part, our marriage was solid, or at least, I thought so. We traveled together, hosted dinner parties, laughed at stupid Netflix shows. We even talked about starting a family soon. But a few months ago, things started to shift. Subtle at first. She was coming home later from work, claiming last-minute meetings and client calls. She'd get texts and smile, but when I asked who it was, she'd say just Maddie, her best friend. Qley was glued to her phone lately, and I noticed she started sleeping with it under her pillow. Not just beside the bed, under the damn pillow. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. I told myself maybe she's just stressed, or maybe I'm being paranoid. But my gut? It felt twisted. Like something wasn't right. I started paying closer attention to the details. Her perfume would linger when she came back, but it wasn't the one she usually wore. She suddenly had new lingerie that she never wore around me. She'd snap at me for small things, like forgetting to buy almond milk, but act sugary sweet on the phone when I walked into the room. I told myself it was just a rough patch. That we'd get through it. I didn't know back then that this was just the beginning of a complete nightmare. The evidence I wasn't supposed to see. So yeah, the signs were piling up. I started feeling like I was living with a stranger. But I still hadn't seen anything concrete. And I didn't want to be that crazy paranoid husband going through his wife's stuff. But then something happened that flipped the switch in my brain. One night, Qley came home late, again. Said she was out with Maddie, grabbing drinks after a super stressful day at work. She smelled like a damn cologne counter. I didn't say anything. Just nodded, smiled, kissed her on the cheek, and went to bed. But around 2 a.m., I woke up. She wasn't in bed. I found her in the living room, whispering on the phone. She froze when she saw me, then fake laughed and said she was talking to Maddie about something girl-related. I nodded again, went back to bed, and that's when I knew I needed to stop trusting and start watching. The next morning, while she was in the shower, I finally gave in and checked her phone. Locked. Of course. But the laptop? It was open. She had iMessage synced. I clicked it open with shaking hands, and there it was. A thread with someone named T. No last name. Just T. Flirty messages. Can't wait to feel you again. Her, last night was incredible. I'm sore today, smirking face emoji. Him, you're addictive. Same time tomorrow? I stared at the screen like it was a bad dream. My heart wasn't just breaking, it was shattering. I wanted to scream, cry, punch a wall, but instead, I took screenshots. Lots of them. I knew this wasn't the end. This was just the first chapter of the storm. Gaslight me once. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, her back turned to me. I felt like I was sleeping next to a stranger. My heart was racing, my hands were shaking, but I forced myself to stay calm. I needed a plan. The next day, I didn't say anything. I acted normal. Made her coffee like always, kissed her on the forehead, even joked about weekend plans. She smiled like nothing was wrong. Like she wasn't stabbing me in the back. But that night, I couldn't take it anymore. We were watching TV on the couch, and during a quiet moment, I just said it. Me, so. Who's T? Her face went white for a split second. Then she laughed. Laughed. Her, what are you talking about? Me, the texts. On your laptop. You left it open. Her, you spied on me? Wow. That's a huge violation of privacy. Seriously, what's wrong with you? She didn't even try to deny it. She deflected. Classic gaslighting. I told her I saw everything. The messages, the dates, the emojis. I mentioned specific lines. That's when she flipped. Full defensive mode. Her, it's nothing. Just flirting. I was bored, okay? You've been distant lately. Always working. I didn't do anything serious. God, why are you being so dramatic? Dramatic? I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. She stormed off into the bedroom and slammed the door. I sat there in silence, feeling smaller than I've ever felt in my life. It wasn't just the betrayal, it was the way she owned it. Like I was the problem. That night, something inside me snapped. I wasn't going to let this go. I wasn't going to be the sad, broken husband begging for answers. No. I was going to be the man who got to the truth, and made her regret every second of this. I decided to play her game better. After that night, something in me shifted. I stopped pleading, stopped reacting. I realized, if I wanted the truth, if I wanted justice, I had to stop being emotional and start being smart. Qley was manipulative. A damn good liar. But she got sloppy. And I was going to use that. I didn't confront her again. I pretended like I believed her just flirting excuse. I told her I overreacted, that maybe I'd been distant too. She nodded, smirked, and acted like she won. Like she could cheat and gaslight me, and I'd just roll over. Big mistake. I started documenting everything. Screenshots, timestamps, phone records. I even installed a discreet voice-activated recorder in her car and a tiny hidden camera in the living room, masked as a phone charger. I felt insane. But I needed proof, not just for myself, but for what I was planning. She started letting her guard down. Talking to Dee again. I'd hear her in the other room, giggling like a teenager. She even went so far as to bring him up, not by name, but casually. Her, my friend from work says you look like Chris Hemsworth. Me, oh yeah? You've got a new friend now? Her, laughing, relax, it's just fun. You're so serious these days. Yeah. Real funny. What she didn't know was that every word was being recorded. And then, the jackpot. One night, I caught her whispering on the phone in our bedroom, thinking I was asleep. She said, "He totally bought it. I'll be out this weekend. Same hotel, same time." That was it. I had enough. Enough proof. Enough rage. But I didn't blow up yet. No. Because revenge, if it's going to work, has to be served ice cold. The setup. I wasn't interested in yelling matches anymore. I was done trying to reason with someone who treated me like a backup plan. Now, I was thinking bigger. I wanted her to feel what I felt, blindsided, humiliated, broken. But I wanted it done with precision. So I started with her best friend, Maddie. Maddie and I were never close, but she was around enough. Girls' nights, brunches, shopping trips. Qley swore she told Maddie everything. So I invited Maddie over under the pretense of needing relationship advice. She looked concerned, even supportive, until I dropped the bomb. I showed her the messages. The recordings. Even the hotel reservation Qley made using our joint credit card. Maddie's mouth dropped open. "Maddie, she told me you were depressed. That you were pulling away, and she didn't know how to help you. I had no idea. She was doing this." I could tell she was genuinely shocked. Angry, even. She sat back, shaking her head. "Maddie, you need to do something. She's been playing you. That's not the woman I thought I knew." I nodded. "I'm going to. But I need your help." You see, Maddie wasn't just her best friend. She was also her maid of honor, her confidant, and, crucially, her coworker. They worked in the same office, and guess who else worked there? T. Yup. The guy from the messages. Tyler. Mid-30s. Recently divorced. Sales department douchebag. I'd never met him, but I would. With Maddie's help, I started gathering even more details. Tyler and Qley weren't just having a fling. They were talking about moving in together. She was planning her exit, from my life, my house, our marriage, and she had the nerve to smile in my face every day while doing it. So I made a decision. If she was going to burn everything down behind my back, then I was going to light the match in front of everyone. The party she'll never forget. 2 weeks later, the stars aligned. Qley was planning a small get-together for her work friends at her house. She said it was to blow off steam after a long quarter. Wine, snacks, maybe a few cocktails. Nothing crazy, she said. Of course, Tyler was going to be there. Just as a friend, she reassured me. The audacity. Perfect. I offered to help with the setup. Told her I'd do the drinks and grill. Told her I'd stay chill and let her have her space. She looked at me, suspicious for a second, then smiled like she'd won. Again. But what she didn't know was that Maddie and I had spent days preparing. I invited a few of my friends too. Including one who just so happened to be a divorce attorney. And another, a tech-savvy genius who helped me rig the smart TV in the living room to mirror my phone. One tap, and every guest would see the full collection. The texts, the audio, the video clips, the hotel reservation. The truth. All of it. The evening arrived. People started pouring in, wine glasses clinking, small talk buzzing. Qley wore a tight black dress, hair curled, red lipstick. She looked stunning. And fake as hell. Tyler showed up fashionably late, of course. Acting like he belonged in my house. I shook his hand, forced a smile. Inside, my blood was boiling. But on the outside? I was calm. Ice cold. At one point, I caught them whispering in the kitchen. She giggled. He touched her lower back. My fists clenched, but I waited. I waited until everyone had a drink in their hand. Until the room got quiet. Until all eyes were on the screen as I tapped a single button on my phone. And just like that, the illusion shattered. The room went silent. The moment I tapped the screen, the party's energy shifted like a power outage. At first, people thought it was a slideshow. Maybe photos from a trip? A funny video? A toast? But no one laughed when the first message popped up on the screen. Qley, last night was incredible. I still feel you inside me. Tyler, can't stop thinking about that curve in your back when you... Gasps. The room froze. Qley's wine glass slipped from her hand and shattered on the floor. I stood in the corner, silent. Watching. Then came the next slide, a short video of her in our bedroom, talking on the phone. Her voice, clear as day, he totally bought it. I'll be out this weekend. Same hotel, same time. Then the screenshots. Dozens. All with timestamps. Her sweet little lies laid out in chronological order. Flirting. Sexting. Planning a future. Laughing at me. People stared, mouths open. Maddie turned away, visibly disgusted. A couple of Qley's co-workers exchanged horrified glances. One guy just muttered, "Jesus Christ." And then Tyler. Oh, man. His face strained of all color. He looked around, then at me, but I didn't break eye contact. He tried to speak but only managed. Dude, I didn't know. Save it. Qley? She stood there trembling. Frozen. Exposed. Her face contorted in shock, horror, rage, shame. Then she snapped. Qley, what the F is wrong with you? You humiliated me. Me, no, Qley. You did that all by yourself. I just provided the stage. Silence. No one came to her defense. Not even Maddie. Tyler stepped back like he wanted to disappear. The crowd slowly began to scatter, awkwardly pretending to care about their phones, their coats, anything but the scene unfolding in front of them. I let her stand there in the ruins of her little game. And for the first time in months, I finally felt in control. But trust me, this wasn't the end. It was only the start. Her apology tour, too little, way too late. The party was over before it even began. People slipped out in silence, avoiding eye contact. No one said goodbye. No one patted her shoulder. Not even Tyler, he practically sprinted out the front door. Qley stood in the middle of the living room, shaking, mascara streaking down her face. I watched her crumble, and for a moment, just a moment, I felt sorry for her. Then I remembered every lie, every night she came home smelling like him, every time she looked me in the eyes and fed me pure bullshit. Nope. No sympathy left. She didn't say a word at first. She just sat on the couch and stared at the floor. I started gathering dishes, calmly. Not out of kindness, I just didn't want to look at her. Then, finally, she spoke. Qley, please. Can we talk? Me, sure. Go ahead. Talk. She launched into the typical damage control monologue. It didn't mean anything. I felt alone. I didn't know how to talk to you. You were so distant. I never meant to hurt you. I didn't interrupt her. I just listened. Expressionless. The more she spoke, the more pathetic she sounded. She wasn't apologizing because she regretted the affair, she was apologizing because she got caught. Big difference. When she finally stopped, I nodded. Me, okay. I heard you. Qley, so. What now? Do we try to fix this? I almost laughed. Fix this? Me, no, Qley. We don't fix this. You broke it. I'm just here to sweep up the pieces and make sure you don't cut anyone else with them. She cried. She begged. She said she'd go to therapy, cut off Tyler, do anything. But I was already done. This wasn't about getting her back. This was about getting me back. And trust me, I wasn't finished yet. Legal chess. The next morning, I scheduled a meeting with my buddy Marcus, the divorce attorney who'd been at the party. He already knew the story, but now it was time to make it official. I showed him the folder I'd compiled, screenshots, audio clips, hotel receipts, and more. He flipped through it with a look of grim approval. "Marcus, honestly? This is one of the cleanest cases of marital misconduct I've ever seen. She's screwed." Me, that's the idea. We discussed everything: the house, my name's on the deed, the car, a gift from my parents, and the joint accounts. Qley had been spending thousands behind my back. Spa days, jewelry, hotel rooms. Some charges even lined up with dates she told me she was with her mother. Marcus told me something that stuck with me. Emotion is for the living room. Strategy is for the courtroom. And I was ready to play chess, not checkers. That evening, I walked into the house calm as ever. Qley was sitting at the dining table like a scolded child, still clinging to the idea that she could win me back with tears and empty promises. I dropped the manila envelope in front of her. She opened it. Read the first few pages. Froze. "Qley, you're divorcing me?" Me, "No, Qley. I'm freeing myself from you." She cried again. Said I was overreacting. Said she made one mistake. One mistake? One mistake doesn't last months. One mistake doesn't check into hotels. One mistake doesn't lie straight to your face while kissing you goodbye. She tried to argue, said she'd fight for the house. For half my retirement. I let her talk. Then I pulled out my final card for the night. Me, I also emailed everything, the texts, the photos, to your company's HR. You know, the one that explicitly forbids intra-office relationships, especially when one party is a manager. Her face turned to ash. Tyler was her subordinate. She whispered, "You didn't." Me, "I did. And you know what, Qley? That wasn't even the worst part of my plan." Collapse. 3 days after I sent the email to HR, it happened. Qley got home early. I was in the kitchen, making coffee, when I heard the door slam. She stormed in, eyes red, hair a mess, still wearing her office blazer, but barefoot. "Qley, they fired me." She said it like it was my fault. Like I had broken the rules. Like I had lied, cheated, and slept my way through the workplace. Me, "They fired you because you violated company policy. Because you lied. Because you thought you were untouchable." She collapsed into a chair and started sobbing. "Qley, you don't understand. That job was everything. I had plans, I had." Me, "You had Tyler." She winced at the name. Apparently, Tyler had also been placed on unpaid leave pending an internal investigation. Office gossip was spreading fast, and guess who wasn't defending her anymore? He ghosted her. No texts. No calls. Just gone. Her reputation? Destroyed. Her LinkedIn? Dead quiet. Friends? Vanishing. Even Maddie cut contact completely. "I can't believe who you've become," she told her before blocking her on everything. Qley tried to spin the story. She called her sister and cried. Told her I was emotionally abusive and spying on her. But her sister knew better. I sent her the same evidence. She didn't even reply. The illusion of Qley, the confident, smart, independent woman, was crumbling fast. What remained was a person who made terrible choices and was now facing the consequences. She tried again. "Qley, can't we just start over? We were happy ones." Me, "You destroyed that version of us. There's no us left." She looked up at me, desperate. "Qley, then what do you want?" I looked her dead in the eye. Me, "I want peace. And I'll get it, with or without your cooperation." The unexpected twist. Just when I thought the worst was behind me, life threw a curveball I didn't see coming. 2 days after Qley lost her job, I received an anonymous email. The sender claimed to have more dirt on Qley, things that even I didn't know about. At first, I thought it was a sick joke or someone trying to stir the pot, but curiosity got the better of me. The email included photos, lots of them. Not just her and Tyler sneaking around, but meetings with other men. Dates, secret text exchanges, even some cash transfers from unknown accounts. Qley wasn't just cheating with Tyler. She'd been juggling multiple affairs behind my back for months, maybe years. The whole marriage was a lie. I sat there, stunned, my mind racing. How deep did this go? Who else was involved? Was there any part of our life that was real? But instead of breaking down, I made a decision. If Qley thought she could get away with this web of lies, she was wrong. I wasn't just going to end this marriage, I was going to expose every last truth. And make sure everyone who needed to know, knew. I forwarded the email to Marcus. Told him to prepare for the next move. Qley, if you thought your lies were enough to break me, you were dead wrong. The masterstroke. Now I knew the full scope of it. Tyler was just one in a line of flings. Qley had been playing me like a damn instrument for years, using me as her emotional and financial safety net while she had her fun on the side. But this wasn't just about cheating anymore. It was fraud. It was betrayal on every level. And now, it was war. With Marcus's help, I launched Phase 2. First, we froze the joint accounts. I moved everything legally under my name where possible. She tried logging in and found herself locked out. I could practically hear her screaming from the other room. Then, I cut her off from the credit cards. Cancelled every one I'd opened, even the emergency card she used to Uber around town like a princess. Suddenly, she was back to walking. Back to asking for help. I wasn't done. I sent the full file, all her lies, affairs, and even financial misuses, to her parents. Her mother called me crying. Her dad didn't say a word. He just sent back one message. "We didn't raise her like this. I'm sorry." I almost felt bad. Almost. But the best was yet to come. Remember the anonymous email? I tracked down the sender. Turns out, it was one of the other men Qley had been seeing, and he didn't know she was married. When he found out, he lost it. Wanted revenge just as badly as I did. So we teamed up. He gave me more evidence. More screenshots. Bank statements. Even a couple of voicemails where she talked about me like I was some useless, boring man she just kept around. Perfect. I created a private Dropbox folder and invited everyone she'd ever worked with, been friends with, dated, or fooled. One giant digital tombstone of her fake life. And when I told her about it, she collapsed to the floor. Sobbing. Screaming. "Qley, you're destroying me." Me, no, Qley. You destroyed yourself. I'm just showing everyone what the pieces look like. The last goodbye. I wish I could say that watching Qley fall apart gave me satisfaction. And for a moment, it did. I'd be lying if I said it didn't feel good to watch her empire of lies collapse brick by brick. The woman who once held control over everything, now couldn't even control her own narrative. But something happened I didn't expect. I started to feel free. Not victorious. Not proud. Just finally, free. After all the chaos, after weeks of planning, documenting, exposing, it all came down to this. One last conversation. She sat across from me on the edge of our bed. Her eyes were puffy, hair unkempt, fingers nervously twisting a tissue into pieces. There was nothing left of the woman I married. Nothing but a shell, stripped of all the charm and lies she used to wear like armor. "Qley, can you just tell me? Why? Why go this far?" Me, because you lied to me. You made a fool out of me. Over and over. And you thought I'd just take it. She didn't respond. Just stared down at the floor. Me, this wasn't just about the cheating. This was about the way you made me doubt myself. The way you made me question my worth. Like I wasn't enough. "Qley, I never meant." Me, but you did. Every single time. Silence. Then I stood up, grabbed the suitcase I'd packed 2 days earlier, and headed for the door. She didn't stop me. She couldn't. Before I left, I turned back one last time. Me, we're done, Qley. And I don't hate you. I just don't care anymore. That's when I knew, I'd won. Not because I ruined her. But because I reclaimed me. After the ashes. It's been 3 months since I walked out that door. The divorce is almost finalized. She didn't contest. After everything, she just signed the papers in silence. I think even she knew, there was nothing left to fight for. No hill left to die on. I moved into a small apartment across town. Nothing fancy. Just quiet. Peaceful. No passive-aggressive silence. No fake smiles hiding lies. Just me, a couch, a dog I adopted named Scout. And a sense of calm I hadn't felt in years. At first, it felt strange. Lonely, even. I'd wake up expecting to hear her voice. Sometimes, I'd walk into the kitchen and forget she wasn't there. Grief is weird like that, it doesn't always come from loss. Sometimes it comes from realizing how long you lived in denial. But then something happened I didn't expect. I ran into Maddie. She was at the grocery store, hair up, no makeup, just jeans and a hoodie, and she looked happier than I'd ever seen her. We talked for nearly an hour, just standing in front of the fruit aisle. I told her everything. She listened, really listened, and when I said I felt broken, she said something I'll never forget. "You weren't broken. You were betrayed. That's not the same thing." Since then, we've gotten coffee a few times. No pressure. No expectations. Just two people who got caught in someone else's fire, learning how to breathe again. And for the first time in forever, I feel hopeful. Not for revenge. Not for justice. But for healing. My story ends, but yours might be beginning. Looking back, I sometimes wonder when exactly I lost her. Was it the first lie? The first late night? The first time she looked me in the eyes and smiled, while planning her next betrayal? Maybe I'll never know. But here's what I do know, I spent too many years ignoring red flags, convincing myself that love meant loyalty, no matter what. That perfect couples push through anything. That silence was strength, and sacrifice was love. But silence isn't strength. It's surrender. And what I've learned, painfully, but permanently, is that if someone shows you who they are, believe them. The first time. I'm not angry anymore. Not even bitter. I'm just awake. I see clearly now how manipulation can wear a mask called love. How betrayal doesn't always look like a stranger in your bed, sometimes it looks like your favorite smile, walking in late and saying, "I missed you." I didn't deserve what happened. But I did deserve what came next. Peace. Growth. A fresh start. If you're reading this, and you're in that place, confused, scared, questioning your worth, hear me. You are not crazy. You are not weak. You are not alone. And sometimes, walking away isn't giving up. Sometimes. It's the beginning of everything. If you found this story powerful, real, or just couldn't stop listening, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. More true life stories like this are coming soon. Your support helps us keep sharing what others are afraid to say out loud. Subscribe now, and let's keep telling the stories that matter.